So, we're back into another Dragon Ball Super card game video. This one, yeah, we're looking at Hatchyyuck, Hacky Sack, whatever you want to call it. The title says it all. At first, I really didn't like Hatchyyuck, and then I started playing it, and I hate myself now because I kind of like it. I personally believe that he is one of the decks that you should be looking towards or looking out for in the coming format or upcoming format, as well as these events, with this weekend being PPG Dallas, next month being PPG Vegas, etc., etc. If you don't know him, what he does, the ceiling that he has, etc., etc., you're doing yourself a disservice. And today I'm going to go ahead and introduce the deck that I have. It features Kitku and a number of other things like the ISR, and as well as a 3-drop Black Masse. And I go through a number of things like how I don't play some of the Ghost Warriors, etc., etc. If you're here for the list, that's no problem. Please let me know what you believe or what you think of it. Let me know what your list looks like in the comments below, and subscribe. We are almost to 4,000. I can smell it, I can feel it, and we got another giveaway coming this Friday. So let's go on into the deck. This one is the leader, or this front and back. This is the leader. If you didn't know, he can only play black battle cards, and he can't attack on the front side. The back side can attack, so no problem there. And then his auto is a built-in Nimbus, just like how Joey is saying. Who thought that was a good idea? I don't know, but I think it is very, very interesting to have. This is sort of a lasting leader in which no other leader really has this effect. It's just like Janemba, in which Janemba has its own effect built in that no one else has, and I think it's going to be around for a while. It's just going to be a leader that you're going to sit across and be like, Hatchyyuck. Just like, Janemba. One thing to clarify in this is that dual attack and as well as triple attack, or if you restand that same card, just like with Heartfelt Plea, the Pain, and the Goku, or whatever else, like yellow card, as long as the same attack or same battle card is attacking, you can kind of get around this auto. The leader is not included in this, so you're going to be focusing, if you're going against or as him, you're going to be focusing on the leader and making sure that your swings count, and you kind of go tall with the combo or just the amount of cards that you're committing to the attack. But 7 or less is the key. Anything 8 or higher, like the Dark Banisher, etc., can attack multiple times, or you can attack with a different card. Anyway, so his activate main is basically mill 3. You place 1 under the deck, or under the card from the deck. You mill to the drop, and then you draw a card. By the time that by turn 3, you have 3 underneath this card, and then you awaken and only draw 1. There's no activate or switch 2 to active or 1 to active. He only needs 1 card. To be honest with you, if he had more than that, I think he would be a little too strong, a little too, what people usually say, overtuned. But that's just me. His backside has the same auto. You can play black battle cards, or you only play black battle cards, but you can swing with this card. He's a 20k leader. When swinging, you draw a card, and with the Kitku, you basically have, as long as he's on the board, a 25k leader when attacking and 20k leader on the defense. Overall, he's interesting. He has some interesting tags as well, with Ghost Warrior on the front side and Machine Mutant, etc. If there are any other cards, like extra cards that only is catered to Machine Mutants, like the baby cards, it'd be kind of interesting in the future to see what we have. All right, let's take a look at the card options and card choices. Up here are all of the archetype base cards, which are the Ghost Warrior type cards, except for this one. This one is not a Ghost Warrior, it's just a Machine Mutant. But going left to right, we have Dark Planet to search out any of the Ghost Warriors over here. Usually you want to get a turret list early on, because we only play it at 2. I can understand if you want to play it at 3. I think that is not too bad of a choice, but honestly, he's good early into the game, and then he sort of loses his own value, even if you use the Kitku throughout the game as well. But if you want to play it at 3, I don't mind it. Like, if you play 3-3-3, it's not too bad. But Dark Planet searches out any of the Dark Warriors from your deck, and then at the end of the turn, you drop 2, or you mill 2 from your deck. And this is really useful because now you have targets to return a deck with the Ghost Warriors. You have targets for the Dark Black Masse and the 3-drop, and as well as just good stuff like the 1-drop over here that you can get back with the Power Burst, or really anything else that you need in the drop. We have one of the Ghost Warriors, which you can search from the Dark Planet, which is why you play one of, or you can get back with Power Burst if you have no other targets. The only downside is if it's in your life, then you just kind of have to deal with it and just take life whenever you can. But this is the Cunning card, in which you and your opponent can only untap if you warp 5 from your drop. You don't really play anything untapping or any cards like battle cards or extra cards that untap, so you don't really worry about that. But this is really good 1-of because it is for the duration of the game. Lord Slug is the activate main, in which this one, and this one has similar, oh well, all of them have kind of similar activate mains to play it. It says to return 3 battle cards, or black battle cards from your drop to your deck from 3 to 7. I believe Turles is 2, and then this one is, I believe, 3. Yep, this is 3. But for the Lord Slug, it is equal or less, or equal or greater activate main, and you send it to your warp, one of their battle cards. Cooler next 10, and then we have the Hatchyyuck, in which we don't play the SR or the other Hatchyyuck, simply because the SR in this is going to be the ISR over here, and as well as all the other finishers. We're going to take a look in a second. The other part of it is that this guy is a nice 3-cost 25k beater that can restand after swinging to a battle card. So if you have something on their end, or they have something on their end that's in rest mode, you can go and swing at it and then restand right after, and then swing it to the leader for 25 each. And it's really not that bad. Like, honestly, I think this is a really good card, in which these you have to play from your hand, and then 3 cards from the deck, or from the drop into the deck, in which this one you play from your hand to the drop, you mill 2, and then you pay 3, and then you do the same effect as these guys. But overall, I think he's been performing pretty well. It feels kind of awkward playing for 3, but most of the time you don't really need to use your energy. So paying 3 is not that big of a deal. And then we have Turles over here. He has a dual attacker, in which you put back 2, unmill, I guess, is probably, who has a word for that? Like anti-mill, reverse mill? Who knows? Probably somebody. And then activate battle is that you pitch a card and gains 5k for the duration of the turn. So that means he's a dual attacker, 15k, and it's kind of nice. He's just a nice little body that can swing twice at battle cards early on with 10k, or swing at the leader twice in a row. That gets around the leader effect, in which you are a 15k. And then we have all of this stuff down here. I almost want to play this guy at 4. He is basically he is just a negate, in which he is a Saiyan, and that you can go ahead and negate and then combo it off, or Xeno Evolve with this guy and then Power Burst and get him back, and you basically just have as many as like 12 negates, basically, because you play 7 in the deck, and then you have the recursion from Power Burst with this guy. But he is a target for the ISR, and then Crisis Crusher is a target for the ISR. Crisis Crusher is there because of the Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan. Crisis Crusher is there because of the Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan, in which is the 1-drop, and you pitch 2 for anything 15k or less. That's not a key activate keyword, in which these guys and this guy is going to be affected by that pretty harshly. And then we have the Kid Goku. Again, the Kid Goku engine in this is pretty damn good, because like I said, you are a 20k leader on the backside using the 4-star ball every single turn that he's on here, or a 25k leader swinging to their leader every single time that you have the Kid Goku on the board. Overall, he has just been, like, if you aren't playing this in Hatchyyuck, I don't know what you're doing with your life, because your hand size is damn good, plus you just keep recurring with these cards, and as well as Kid Goku. The interactions in this deck is damn good. And then we have the Saiyan Transcendence. I will never be able to say that. I have issues saying words in general, so that's a bummer. This guy is the ISR. He has a 25k double striker for 1, in which you Xeno Evolve, as in you send one of these guys to warp, and then you play the card right after. You can't play this with 3 or less energy, so you have to wait until turn 4. But by the time that you do have that, you either can again Power Burst and get this guy back after you use the Xeno Evolve, or use this guy, because by that time you don't really need to worry about 1-drops. Plus, he has the activate main, in which you return 5 black battle cards from the warp to the drop area. I'm sorry, 4 black battle cards, but still pretty damn good, because now all of these guys, in which after you overwhelm, can be returned, and then now you can go ahead and use the Ghost Warrior effect, or another effect that you need. It's kind of a bummer that it's only black battle cards, so you just got to remember to use the Kid Goku effect and get the ball first, and then overwhelm, and then use the ISR effect. And that's usually when you want to go ahead and play Demigra or the Fu Dark Banisher. Now, if we look at the extras, again, 4-star, you already know, Super Kamehameha is damn good in any black battle card, or black deck, or mono black deck. or really just any black leader. As long as you have an open energy, you can play this at 4 or less. The permanent says that you can only have all black energy, in which this deck, Toa, Demigra can all really do that. And then you send a 3 or less cost to the warp before it's even played. So just like Desperate Measures, but better. This really helps out with the Black Messane over here against Champa or anything else that rest mode or uses in rest mode or places in rest mode. Same thing for the Dark Banisher and as well as the Demigra. Or if they are, if the only card that they can actually, like, the other thing is that when you play this and you're playing against, let's say, an NJ21 or an 18 leader, in which the first card that they play or you play can attack. If you go ahead and play this against a 2 or 3 drop, that is never played, and the next card is going to be the card that they can't play. So some of those interactions you kind of have to watch out for playing as and as well as going against. And then for Power Burst, that's kind of a staple. We have the super combo, the Trunks instead of the Roshi, because you're going to have 5 or more in the drop more often than not. Then you go to 4. The other part of that is that he is a Saiyan, in which helps the requirement for the Black Mass over here. Then we have the Black Mass, in which you have 15 cards in your drop and as well as their drop. Majority of the time, a lot of Saiyan cards are being played, not only in your deck but theirs. This is the only reason why I won. Like I won against Broly Apes Red Yellow. I went to 120 or something like that. He comboed out, and right after I had 3 open energy, I had a Super Kamehameha 4 or less and played the 3-drop Black Mass right then and there. He tried to Champa it, and then I used the Super Kamehameha and I swung and won the game basically. The only thing you have to watch out for are blockers, and as well as the starter Broly, because I think if you KO it during the activate battle step, you don't get the effect. Someone can go ahead and correct me on that one. Then we have all of these guys. So 2 other finishers, the Dark Banisher. I can almost think about playing this at 3, but it's just like, more 1Ks. You don't really want to play this until later. I guess it probably could be good at 3. And then the Demigra just wins you games. There's nothing else to really say about that. Time Trauma. Sometimes you want to get to 4 and they won't attack you, and you want to go get a little bit of removal. Even if you take 1 card from your life, you can go ahead and warp a 5 cost or less. It is another target for the Ghost Warriors at 3 or more, and then it is another Saiyan for the Black Mass. So he is definitely a flex spot. And the other part of it is that here's some cards you can kind of consider. The Time's Judgment introduced by Joss, our teammate. It says a negate attack, and then you can choose 2 cards from your hand and place in the drop area. These cards can be anything from a Black Mass over here if you have one in your hand already, or another 3 costs, or 3 to 7, a Ghost Warrior, a 4-star ball, etc. And you basically can go ahead and recur this in itself and not really lose any cards, because you're going to get those back in the deck, or Kiku is going to go ahead and get the 4-star ball back afterwards. So that's just more defense. I think in testing, it hasn't been too bad. Then we have the Gohan, in which procs off any of the Ghost Warriors. You don't play too many, but it is cool to have as a 15k blocker and another attacker as you need it. It just says any black battle card, so it's not too bad. And then we have the new Block Stopper, in which you pay 1 energy, in which you can place this card into the hand into your drop area and then KO 2 or less. And he is also a 4-cost double striker, in which you can warp one of their cards. The other one, the Splintering Mine, this one and as well as that one, are both 3 or more Saiyans, and as well as warp cards. The other one, you have to take 2 life and then warp one of their life, just like the Black Mass Saiyan. It's just like one of those unconditional win cons. Well, conditional win con, but you know you're gonna win if you have the right conditions, basically. But this one is pretty cool. I think it's a nice little tech. It's a 20k double striker, so not too bad. And I'm gonna try to do this a little bit more often. Just let me know in the comments what you guys really need. Like I understand that you can't watch the entire video. I understand that some people want some gameplay. It's just really hard when you make 5 or 6 decks per week and you try to make them actually good. So I'm trying to evolve into that, and as well as make decent content and nothing that's, you know, trash. But please let me know in the comments below. Do you want gameplay? Do you want this? Or are you gonna, or is people gonna skip to the deck list and not even hear this at all? I'm gonna cry in a corner. Anyway, mulligan. Off my soapbox. We have the Kid Goku. You basically want to get a Kid Goku, a Dark Planet, or a Crisis Crusher, just depending on what matchup do you have. But usually, this is a really good generic mulligan for really any matchup, because now you can get the Kid Goku on turn 1, or you can play Crisis Crusher and then prevent any 1 cost if you're going first. And then on the second turn, you can go ahead and use Kid Goku and Dark Planet, so that way you can go ahead and +2, +1 from the leader, and then go ahead and fill your drop from there. So that way you can start using Ghost Warriors. Just like how I was saying, the turn 1 to 4 is basically the same. It just depends on what you're going against. Most of the time, you want to go ahead and take a life whenever you need to, as long as it's not critical or double strike. If not, then you just go ahead and use the 4-star balls just to combo out of whatever you need to. And then by the time that you're awakened, you go ahead and swing with the leader as much as you can, which is once per turn, and then swing with Turles or another Ghost Warrior, and negate with the 1-drop Goku on their turn. So that way on turn 4, go ahead and keep using the Kidkus, play out the ISR, and then you go ahead and plan your life out, so that way you can use Kamehameha and then set up your Dark Banisher to Migra or Black Mass for the next turn. And by that time, you're going to win, because now you're swinging with Ghost Warrior, swinging with the leader effect with 25k, etc, etc. By that time, you're going to be either swinging with Dark Banisher as much as you can, or Black Mass, and this just guarantee the game, because at that point they're trying to kill you, and they're going to be trying to take cards from life whenever they can. Here's the list in itself, and really I explained a lot of different choices. I am not going to be able to explain every single matchup or every single choice, or why I didn't do this or why I didn't do that, but I think this is a really good solid base. I am not dissatisfied with not playing the SR or whatever it may be. I think there's a lot of different things that you can do with this deck, and there's a lot of different tools in black that we can actually use within the deck. And I think people should watch out for this deck again going into PPT Dallas, because it is going to be a deck that people are going to play. I almost guarantee it. But like I was saying, one of the reasons why people will be playing is because of Janemba. It is every single Ghost Warrior, and even the one that I didn't include, like the Frieza that rests something in barrier, the other Turles that warps a card from their drop into their warp, those are still good, but more sideboard cards. And I think as we go into different matchups and people learn the different matchups for this deck, those are going to be more relevant. But he is a Janemba counter. He is just like Janemba, just like I was saying. His leader effect is solely based for him, just like how Janemba is for him. Like, there's no other leader. I am telling you, just because of that, he's going to stay around for a while. Like, it's just going to happen. Control and Beyond, just like I was saying, just the built-in leader effect, or built-in Nimbus effect, it's pretty crazy. And plus all the negates that you use, the removal, the Crisis Crusher, etc, etc, all of that stuff is really kind of crazy. You are a 20 to 25k leader with Kiku, the tools, just like I was saying, etc. And then we have the cons, in which, you know, you kind of do lose the dual attack, triple attack, etc, like with Shenron, Kefla, I guess, things like that. You do kind of lose to Yellow Broly if they set it up right. If they go for like Hada Mastery, and as well as Victory Strike kind of just kills this deck. I don't think it really has an answer for that. I don't think you really have an answer for that deck, other than to draw it out, maybe use a Turles and remove their drop, so that way they can't Hada Mastery. That's the only thing I can really think of. And then Demigran when you can. And then Black Messiah can be played around, but you can really, well, not only this one can be played around, but that's why you play Super Kamehameha. The other Black Messiah in the 1-drop, you just kind of have to make sure to remove with the Crisis Crusher. And then I'm just going to go ahead and throw in Dr. Wheelo, because they both don't really do anything for itself. Like, Dr. Wheelo doesn't really care if it takes life, and then you can just go ahead and just block whenever you can. And then by the time that you get to 6 energy, Dr. Wheelo should win. So it's kind of a rough matchup. I'm just going to throw that in there. I love Dr. Wheelo, so whatever. Either way, let me know what you think about the deck. Subscribe if you're new. Help me get to 4K. Let me know what other decks that you want to see, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.